Matthias, your answer number three was to regulate and communicate um, how the responsibilities of the coach and the ethical responsibilities of the coach. And I agree with you on that because it is the coach's responsibility and administrators as well to make sure that that not only know the rules, but that student athletes know the rules as well, because they are responsible for all the rules being in place on the team. So I agree with you on that. Your answer to number 5 was have discussion with the team about what is and isn't a violation, and I think that's very important because people do tend to forget what it is and isn't a violation, and what to do and what not to do. And I think it's also important to constantly go over what violations are and how they can impact your team, because that's definitely something that can hinder you and your student athletes from being successful, is by steady committing violations and also breaking rules without knowing the rules. So like you said, you have to look over the rule book, and it is okay to ask questions. Your answer to number 6 was fairness is important because it's part of the spirit of the competition, and I think that's absolutely important because you have to play fair, and also you have to make sure that the rules are fair so that both teams have a balanced advantage, have balance, and not one team had an advantage. And transparency, that you said, was sweep under the rug, and I think that's also important because you have to be honest with not only yourself, but you have to be honest with your student athletes and with the school as well, because like you said in your video, the darkness will come into the light, essentially. And I think that's worse than straight up telling the truth, is hiding the truth, because that makes it look even worse. So I think it's very important to definitely tell what you did if you did something, instead of hiding it, because they can make the situation even worse. And accountability, just as it is, own up to your violations, tell the truth, and also be straightforward. Your answer to number 9 was focus on the student part, and I think that's something that don't really get talked about enough, and I definitely agree with you that students should definitely focus on the student part, because like you said in your video, majority of these college athletes won't be in a professional level in terms of sports. So it's very important. Definitely, it's very important to do the student part, because a lot of these athletes, college athletes, won't end up being professionals. And number 10, if it doesn't feel like, don't do it, like you said. And that part I agree with you on that, because that hindsight can definitely catch up with you if you don't have the right conscience into doing what you want to do. And if you don't feel like what you're doing is right, you shouldn't do it at all, because it can definitely catch up with you, and it can definitely get you in trouble, and your coaches and your team, and most importantly your school, in trouble. So if you don't feel like something's right, don't do it. So those are my responses to the questions, and thank you.